Brian Little.
Yo, what's up, Ride Nation? Back at you with another video. On today, this is Raw Detroit. Make sure you guys hit that subscription button, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever we put up an upload. And without further ado, let's get into the installment. All right, guys, we're going to talk about one of the most controversial topics right now with the Detroit Lions. And if you're a Detroit Lion fan, you know what I'm talking about. It's the quarterback position. A lot of people have their different opinions about it, whether or not Jared Goff is a long-term solution for the Detroit Lions, whether or not he'll get an extension, whether or not Jared Goff will be cut and you'll save $20 million on the cap. It's a lot of things. There's a lot of questions that you have as a Detroit Lion fan. But what I do know is that the Lions definitely need to draft a quarterback in this draft class. You can't continue to go without drafting a quarterback that maybe that you can groom, or a franchise guy that will be able to take over the franchise and lead this team into the sunset. Now, pretty much we know some of the top names that's out there at quarterback. You got Hendon Hooker, who's a Heisman finalist right now. You got Bryce Young. You have C.J. Stroud. You have Will Levis. Maybe Anthony Richardson decides to leave Florida and he jumps into it. You have K.J. Jefferson of Arkansas. You have from Pittsburgh, Caden Slavis. I mean, there's you have Grayson McCall. It's just too many quarterbacks to name. Malik Cunningham. I can go on and on and on and on and so forth. But the biggest thing in Detroit is Detroit ready to develop a quarterback? You know, and I just think that the Lions need a different dynamic type of quarterback. That's just my opinion. Now, your opinion may be a little different. You may feel that Jared Goff is cool and we need to draft all defensive guys, you know, and that's your opinion and you're entitled to that. But this is my opinion, and I'm just stating what I think the Detroit Lions could possibly do. Now, whether or not they're going to do, they're going to make the transition over to getting a quarterback is totally on the Lions, and it's going to be their prerogative to do whatever they want to do and whatever they see fit. But at the end of the day, you know that this is an issue, because if it wasn't an issue, then Brad Holmes wouldn't have never got rid of Tim Boyle or David Blah. So you know that we need to grab a quarterback. And pretty much we know he brought Tim Boyle back on the team because he knew the playbook and he's on the practice squad. But he ended up picking up the quarterback from San Francisco, Nate Sudfeld. So we pretty much have him on the roster currently. But I definitely think that the Lions should think about either getting a franchise quarterback or developing a quarterback in 2023. We got to stop running from it. It is the elephant in the room, and I just want to talk to you today about Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix stands at about 6'3", 214 pounds. Right now, currently, these are his stats on the season, and he has 2 games left. He has a game against Utah, and he has a game against Oregon State. So he can his stats can shoot up even further than what they are right now. Right now, currently, he has passed over 2,774 yards. His completion percentage is 72.8, which is off the chart. That means that he's being very deadly accurate with the football. And I just want to say another thing about Bo Nix. He's having his best collegiate season since he's been playing in college football. Even when he was with Auburn, he's not putting up the numbers that he's putting up with Oregon. He has been phenomenal with the Oregon Ducks. After that game against Georgia, pretty much embarrassing the Ducks. After that, man, this dude has been lights out. Now, he's lost a few games here and there, but he has played exceptionally well at the quarterback position. So, also, he has 24 passing TDs on the season. He has 5 interceptions. He has rushed over 512 yards on the ground, and he has 14 touchdowns on the ground as well. He has 1 reception and 1 touchdown as a receiver. And then he has a total of 39 touchdowns on the season. So currently in his career, he's over 1,300 yards rushing on the ground with 32 touchdowns on the ground. So you see Bo Nix is a dual threat quarterback, and he has a great arm. I'm not going to say he has the strongest arm in the draft, but he has an NFL arm. And you know what I mean by NFL arm. He can make all the throws. He can do all of that. He's well over 10,000 yards passing in his collegiate career. And the kid has been phenomenal at Oregon. And I just think that this is a quarterback that the Lions could put on a big board as a guy that they could take in the later rounds if they decide not to take a quarterback early or anything of that nature, because they could go defense all early. It could be all nothing but defense, because the defense does need to get better. They need to get a defensive tackle, maybe to replace Levi Onwuzurike. And then you may have to get a defensive end. You may have to get a few linebackers, which we know that they need. They definitely need some linebackers. And then you may have to get a safety or a corner. So you just never know where they're going to go with this thing. Or you could take the corner first. I don't know what the Lions are going to do. But what I'm saying to you is that Bo Nix is a guy that you can look at as a guy that you can develop. I'm not saying that the Lions are going to draft him, and I'm not saying that he's the one. But what I'm telling you is that this quarterback can play. He has phenomenal stats and things that he's has been able to accomplish this year with Oregon, as well as just being in college and balling out and playing football, period, with Auburn and with Oregon. So he's been phenomenal this season. And he's one of the guys that's up to win the Heisman as well. So if you didn't know that, Bo Nix is one of the guys that is being looked at as possibly winning the Heisman with guys like Hendon Hooker. And that's another one of my quarterbacks that I wouldn't mind developing as well, Hendon Hooker. I wouldn't mind taking him. Now, Hendon Hooker's a little bit older. He's 24. But at the same time, to me, age ain't nothing but a number. So I still take Hendon Hooker because I want to see something different. I want to see a different dynamic in Detroit now. Do everybody want to see this dynamic that I want to see? No, of course. Everybody doesn't want to see this. Some people want Jared Goff to be the quarterback. And then there's some people that say, hey, keep Jared Goff as a quarterback, but make sure you get that quarterback that we got back there that we can develop. And I'm cool with that. And then when you look at Clayton Tune, which I don't know a lot of you guys familiar with, he's from Houston. And he's been phenomenal in his collegiate career as well. He's well over 10,000 yards passing as well. The same as Bo Nix. And he's a dual threat quarterback. He has currently right now on the season, he's passed over 3,000 yards. His completion percentage is 68.3, which that's pretty decent. It's not bad at all. And then he has 31 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. Probably want to clean that up just a little bit. But he has 8 interceptions. Then he has 413 yards on the ground rushing with 5 touchdowns. And then over his collegiate career, he has over 1,000 plus yards rushing on the ground with 15 touchdowns total on the ground. So he can get it done through the air and with his leg as well. It's a lot of dual threat quarterbacks coming this season in the NFL. And I would love for the Lions to have a different look, a different dynamic than what we normally have. We normally have the pocket passer. And I just want to see something different. I'm not saying that the Lions are going to ultimately draft Clayton Tune or they're going to draft Bo Nix. But what I'm saying to you as a fan of the Lions, that I would love to see something different. I don't know if you want to see something different. Some of you may just figure that Jared Goff is who he is and he's going to be our quarterback long term. But I don't think that way. I think that you always have to be thinking for the future. You always have to, especially with this regime not being able to get their quarterback yet. And some people may say they have already gotten their quarterback, which is Jared Goff. But normally when you're a new regime, you like to have your own quarterback as well. So maybe that could be something that the Lions are deciding to do as well, is to look at other quarterbacks this season finally, because I know the Lions know that they have to get a younger quarterback back there that they can groom, whether it's the franchise quarterback or it's a developmental quarterback. Guys like Hendon Hooker, Bo Nix, Grayson McCall, Clayton Tune, the list goes on. It's so many different quarterbacks out there that you, KJ Jefferson, that you guys can take. So I want to see, man. I want to see what the Lions are going to ultimately do at the end of the day. Will they go all defense in 2023, or will they decide to draft a quarterback, whether it be a franchise quarterback or a developmental quarterback that they can groom and bring him in slowly? Because pretty much the Lions do not have to get rid of Jared Goff. Jared Goff contract is not over until 2024, and that's what they could decide to let him go, or they can decide to give him a contract extension. And I know some people may not want that, him getting an extension to be a part of this team any longer. And then some say they would love for Jared Goff to be the long-term quarterback. Me personally, I want to groom the younger quarterback. I want to have that quarterback back there where I can groom. The same thing I think about the linebacker position. The Lions have to get better at the linebacker position. I watched the film earlier today with the Lions against the Bears, and I just couldn't believe the missed tackles that Alex Anzalone was making. He was like tap dancing, man, before he would go out and shoot through the gaps. We have to get a linebacker. I don't care if he had 10 tackles in a game or whatever it may be. We got to go get a linebacker too as well. We got to go get some studs at linebacker. But definitely I think that the Lions need to consider of thinking about taking a Bo Nix, taking a Clayton Tune, taking a Grayson McCall, taking a Hendon Hooker, taking a Will Levis or whoever, you know what I'm saying, at quarterback. Having somebody back there that you can groom to eventually lead this team in the future. Now, some people say go all defense. Some people say no, don't go all defense. Get a couple offensive pieces. Maybe grab you a running back because the running back position is unsettled. You don't know what that's going to be like next year. Whether or not they're going to sign back Jamal Williams, or what are they going to do with DeAndre Swift? Will they trade him during draft time? There's a lot of different scenarios how this thing can play out. I don't know if the Lions are going to keep DeAndre Swift long term, but these are the things they need to be thinking about. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.
Brian Little.